Now, delegates at the 5th Global Conference on the Elimination of Child Labour are calling for more action to end child labour. It's estimated that roughly 160 million children are subjected to child labour, representing almost 1 in 10 children worldwide. President Cyril Ramaphosa has also called on delegates to commit to taking far-reaching actions to make a difference in the lives of children. We're joined now by Thulas, Nxesi, Employment and Labour Minister, for more on the matter. Minister, thank you so much for joining us this afternoon. Please take us through some of the key themes under discussion.
Well, since we started with this conference, which was opened by the Honourable President and the ILO DG, a number of issues have been discussed, and we've received, I would say, excellent feedback about the content of those issues. But those issues are issues of the root causes of child labour, the issues of social protection, access to basic education, and what all the different parties are supposed to do. For instance, one of the big topics was the issue of the global supply chains, where we noticed that a lot of child labor is at the lowest levels of those supply chains. If you're talking about agriculture and where we are producing a lot of materials, that's where we see that happening. We are also talking about financing mechanisms to ending child labor. And those are the very interesting topics, including what are the regional approaches to ending child labor, because we are in the different regions of the world. All I can say now is that the social partners under the leadership of the DG are busy very hard at work, where they are trying to fine-tune what we would call a Durban call to action, and this action is going to be a plan which comes out here and for the various countries and regions to implement.
Now, Minister, you know, this is on the back of many other global conferences. You can date all the way back to 1997 if we really want to look at this. Do you feel we're making headway at all?
We think so. We think so. We are, given the feedback which we're getting from the different delegates who are coming from all over the world, various ministries, the employers, and so on. But I think one of the weaknesses has been people enjoy just coming to conferences to resolve and go back home and do not do anything. One of the issues which has come up very, very strongly has been the issue of implementation plans, and that we need to put also monitoring mechanisms on what we are agreeing on. And therefore there has been a call that the various countries should be able to take this very seriously. And I think some of the regions and some of the countries are able to do something. For instance, our country, in relation to what you call compulsory education for children at a certain age, the issue of social protection, the issue of the school feeding scheme at school, and so on. The various interventions are working, and some of the countries have indicated that they've come to share the information and exchange strategies which they can be able to use. So we think that the matter has been taken very seriously.
Yes. Now, Minister, let's localize it and look from a South African perspective, from an African perspective. What constitutes child labor? And I really want to bring this back. If we look at the rural areas, if we look at, let's say, subsistence farming, if I wake up in the morning, my 12-year-old goes into the field with me, he's working 10 hours and so forth. I mean, what constitutes child labor, and are we getting the message across to everybody who needs to actually understand that, you know, sometimes we are breaking the law?
Well, in terms of our constitution as a country, we're very clear about the rights of the children, and that children have a right to education. That's very basic. And children have a right to proper health and care. All those rights have been clearly identified, and they are in our constitution, and there are laws which have been put, including the right to be at school and not to work until the age of 15. And they can work at the age of 15, but we need to ensure that it's not hazardous work, dangerous work, even if they are working at that particular level. That's very important. But also, we are very clear as a country that even if children have to do some work, some chores at home, it should not be dangerous chores. It should not be the work which will block them from doing their homework or not being able to go to school. These are the issues which we're talking about. But we know that there is a bit of a problem here, especially in agriculture, where these are the children of the tenants in the farms who were born in the farms, where some of the farmers, they want to force them to do that particular work. So these are the issues which we are trying to deal with. But we can be able to say safely in this country. I was saying 95%, but a Minister of Education says to me 99% of the children are back at school, and when they are at school, they are enjoying the school feeding scheme. When at the school, it's no-fee school in the poor areas, and that is helping in dealing with poverty. The various grants which we have given to the children, the what you would call the social grants we are giving also to the parents, the relief which we are giving to the parents, so that they can be able to have some income instead of saying the children must go and work. But also now we've just introduced ECD, early childhood development. It's a very important intervention. So I can say in the country we are doing, we might not be 100%, but we think that the strategies which we have put in place are taking us forward.
Minister, how important is it that in this particular conference, the 5th conference, you've actually included, you know, the participation of children? It's time maybe to hear from them, isn't it?
Yes, the children are intended beneficiaries of the efforts which have been earmarked to ending child labor. It was important that all social partners we take their voices into account as we deliberate these interventions that will benefit them. They've said it openly. There was an ambassador here, a child ambassador, who said, nothing for us without us. We must be brought into the discussions because we are bringing experiences of how we have been traumatized. And it must be recalled that children are not necessarily part of the structure of the ILO and other institutions of global labor market governance. However, we had to find a way to get them involved in the conference. And for the first time we're doing this in South Africa. We think that it's going to be continuing. We're excited that this Children's Forum is also taking place tomorrow. We expect huge interest in the session, and that our National Department of Social Development, together with its strategic partners, they have been facilitating this. It has created a lot of enthusiasm.
Minister, thank you so much for giving us a bit of your time, talking to us there live from Durban. It's the 5th Global Conference on the Elimination of Child Labour.